right, well, perfect. We're here down at the Pac-12 discussion show, live, coming at you. My name's Reed. We got Jack, the old ball coach, here. So what we wanted to do is just discuss about the Pac-12 season coming up here. Got a lot of key matchups this week. It's the first week. Wanted to go through just some matchups and kind of how we're going to do against the spread. You feeling pretty good about the season?
I'm feeling great about it. It's a bit weird that we're starting here in November.
It is weird.
But at the very least, we have a Pac-12 football season, and I'm excited for it.
I am too. No, this will be good. So kind of just going to the first matchup here. How do you feel about the Oregon State, Washington State game?
The old Cougs are headed down there to Corvallis, and to be honest, I like the Cougs.
You want the Cougs to win? You got them over the spread?
So. I got them, yeah, covering and winning.
You know, go ahead.
And you know why?
Why?
I know they have a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're looking at Nich Wololovich. But
Do you think that's how it's pronounced?
I don't know. I can't wait to talk to him on Saturday when we're actually in Corvallis.
Yeah, when we're there live. Yeah, no, for sure.
But, I mean, there is a lot of questions surrounding WSU this year. With their offense being the air raid, I know Mike Leach has, of course, proved it down in the SEC.
Mm.
But they've had a lot of quarterbacks step in there, play really well. They're starting a true freshman this year, Jaden DeLaura.
Oh, really? I thought they were. Okay.
They just named him as the starter.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see how he does. But I really like Max Forgy out of the backfield. They need to run the draw. They need to keep OSU on their toes on defense. So
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from there. I really like Oregon State in this game just because of Jonathan Smith, the head coach. He's an Idaho guy. Well, he coached at Idaho from 2004 to 2009. Throw the B. And so, no, I think that they've got a really good shot. I mean, they believe him as a school. I mean, he's got a contract through 2025. They're actually starting to turn the corner a little bit here. So I really think Oregon State's going to cover that game. And it's a home game. I know it really doesn't mean anything with the crowd, but at least you're not traveling. I think Oregon State's actually going to cover the spread here. So I'm going to go with my lock pick right here.
You're going to lock them in?
Lock them in. Oregon State locked. Game 1 of the season.
I also heard that the state of Oregon just passed hard drugs, so
well, that's
see
good.
if they're going to be smoking any crack on the sidelines down there in Corvallis.
We have what mushrooms are legal down there, so we got mushrooms and weed, and then now we have heroin. So it's going to be a good time down in Corvallis.
It's going to be a good time. Can't wait to be there.
Washington will probably be the next state, honestly, in the trip, so they'll probably do it too next, so that'll be good.
You know the Seattle people are pissed.
You think so?
Yeah. Portland can do drugs, hard drugs.
And now they can't? Yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, I think that game's kind of interesting, but the next one...
It's a close spread.
It is really close. I don't think Vegas has a good handle on either of those teams.
Yeah, I don't think they have a good handle on the Pac-12 at all, to be
No.
honest. Maybe Oregon.
That's about it.
People got to watch Oregon last year.
That's true. And
they lost a lot.
They did lose a lot. Yeah, no, and I think the Pac-12's biggest issue is a lot of times they don't have, they don't get the publicity as the other conferences.
Yeah. The whole West Coast.
Pretty much. Everyone's asleep when they're playing these games.
Hawaii is a spread killer every single week.
Oh, and the matchups?
They're covering the spread or they're beating the spread because nobody gets to watch them. We don't even watch them.
Right.
I mean, unless they're on the mainland.
Right.
But
that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then kind of moving to the next game we have, we got Arizona State versus USC. USC's favored by 10.5 points. How do you feel about that game?
I mean, I know what you're thinking, but you got to give it to the Trojans here. Clovis, quarterback for USC, he's the top 5 player easily in the Pac-12 this year, in my opinion. He's thrown to some talented wide receivers. And, Yeah, I just like them over ASU.
You like them over ASU? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to have them covering.
Yeah, who are you taking on the spread on that game?
Well, I mean, you give the coaching advantage for sure to ASU. So,
Yeah.
in that respect, I would take ASU to cover the spread, but I'm going to take USC to get the win.
Okay. No, the spread. So spread goes to ASU. That's what you got down
Yeah,
there.
Herm Edwards, I mean, he's been around the game for
I
a
agree.
century.
Yeah, he's been around. You know who he reminds me of is the playoffs guy.
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Yeah, that's him, isn't it?
No, that's not him. That's what's crazy. It's
What?
It was the Colts head coach back in
Yeah,
the
isn't
day.
that Herm?
No, I mean I'll look it up, but I'll look it up.
Oh, no, not the playoffs. He said
Um,
he has another good line.
shit.
No, I know who you're
Yeah.
you're talking about, the playoffs guy, but he said he has another good classic line. I want to say.
He does. I can't remember. It was when he was on the Jet, when he was head coach in the Jets.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is
Yeah.
now.
No, I know what you're saying though.
No, but yeah, I think now listen up here. This is my dark horse pick here. Arizona State will win the Pac-12 South. Right there in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will win the Pac-12 South. They're gonna beat USC. Obviously, cover the spread. And I think Herm's just got a good team rolling. They won a bowl game last year. He's overall 15-11 the last 2 years. The team's gotten better both years that he's coached. I just think that Frank Darby, the wide receiver, he's probably one of the best guys in the Pac-12 right now. Wide receiver for them, stretches the field. You have Chad Johnson Jr. on the team. How are you going to lose with that guy? So,
Is he 85?
I don't think so. I think he's like 6.
Oh.
That would be pretty sick, though. Because Frank Darby's 84. So I don't think he's 85. But
Okay.
I think their tight end might be 85. But yeah, I think Arizona State's going to be a team that most people don't see coming.
No, they would definitely be a dark horse.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
ifs,
my big
ands, or
favorite.
buts about it.
So if you want to win a
football.
lot of money on Saturday at 10 a.m., watch the game on Fox. Arizona
It's
is
a
gonna,
decent bet.
Yeah.
It really is a decent bet.
Yeah, so just talking about Arizona-Utah. So we got Utah favored big in this game, 14.5 points. How are you feeling? Where are you going with the game?
I don't know. It's tough to say what they have going on down there in Tucson, to be honest. They haven't been great. They pretty much get hyped up to beat ASU every year, whether it be at home or in Phoenix.
You mean Scottsdale?
What?
Isn't it in Scottsdale?
ASU?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If we're going to split hairs,
Right.
possibly.
Yeah.
I really like Utah this year.
You really
They've
like
been
Utah?
good the past couple of years. Same head coach, Kyle Whittingham.
I think that's it.
He seems like he's a really solid coach, can get the guys motivated, gets them to go out and play hard. They won the Pac-12 South last 2 years. And to be honest, Arizona football has not been great. They've had some talent,
Mm-hmm.
but they just haven't performed at all.
Right.
They've been in some shootouts, in the last couple of years and won some close games, but I like Utah in this one.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know, 14.5 points.
You're going to
seems
take
like
them
a
to
lot.
cover
See, that's a lot of points. Utah is favored in
with the
that game.
pandemic.
I just don't really like Kevin Sumlin. I really don't think he's that great of a head coach. He hasn't done that well at Arizona. I mean, he's 9-15 the whole time he's been there. So I really think that if we had on a normal game, I'm gonna take Utah to cover that. Man, I think I'm gonna go
It's
with
14
Utah.
and a half.
14 and a half. I think it's 14
Or is
straight
it
up.
14 straight up?
Yeah, it's 14 points. So I think I'm going to go with Utah as well covering. Their starting quarterback at Arizona, I've never even heard of him. I don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
The guy they had the
Utah
last
has
week
a senior,
at quarterback.
5th year senior
Yeah, quarterback. So I think what I would go with is I would go Utah as well. That game's pretty straightforward. I mean, it doesn't look like Arizona's going to be a whole lot this year. So I would
You
put a
never
lot.
know.
That's true. It's COVID.
Pandemic stricken
Right.
year. Not very much practice time.
I
It's
agree.
really up in the air in a lot of ways through not only the Pac-12, we've seen it in the Big Ten already. With
Penn State, they lost to Indiana.
Losing to Indiana. Indiana apparently is good.
Right.
I don't know. I thought they only played basketball.
Right, that's
apparently
a good point.
Indiana's decent at football, so it's tough to tell. Utah is probably one of the favorites coming out of the Pac-12. They got to be in the top 3. I mean, they're going to be competing against USC, in my opinion. I know you got Arizona State as your dark horse, but so we'll see. You never know.
No, yeah, I think so. I just can't see Utah dropping off that much, and I can't see Arizona getting that much better.
Agreed.
So I think that game's kind of wrapped. I mean, there isn't really a whole lot of drama around the game or any storyline really. It's just, is Arizona as shitty as we think they are, and is Utah
going to Arizona's traveling.
Right.
So.
You're going all the way to Salt Lake. I just think there's no fans, which is going to help Arizona big time, but I just don't think you're going to have any real push there. This other game is another game that I really don't know about either of these two teams. It's UCLA versus Colorado. It's in Boulder. It's UCLA's up 6.5 points. Do you think how do you feel? What are you feeling in the game?
I don't know. It's tough to say. UCLA is favored by 6.5. Of course, Vegas is going to put it right there.
Right.
They got to get a touchdown, and they have to win by a touchdown. UCLA does have the 7th rated recruiting class this year. They were able to, in my opinion, a lot of these teams fared fairly well recruiting class-wise because of COVID.
You said UCLA has the 7th rated recruiting class in the nation?
Yeah, is that?
USC does.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, that makes sense, though. UCLA, with Chip Kelly, though, really, they haven't really performed well. So, I mean, the outcome of this game, honestly, I have nothing on Colorado. That's the one team I really don't know at all. They haven't been very good in the past, the last couple of years. Really, since they've joined the Pac-12, they haven't done anything. No. I just think UCLA will get a win for sure. I think they'll cover as well, just because of the sole fact of Chip Kelly's offense. Hopefully they can get something going. When they played WSU last year, huge turn in that game. They scored over 60 points. That was kind of the downfall of WSU's season, honestly, after that loss.
Yeah. Hands down.
So I think UCLA is a big... Chip Kelly, this has got to be his year to really prove that he can coach again. I mean,
he needs to perform.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, is he going to have another average year? Is he going to make a bowl game? I don't know how the bowl system's going to work, but is he going to, come out and be 5-1 or 5-2? Is he going to come out and just lay an egg again? So I think Chip Kelly has a lot to prove this year.
Yeah, they have to get out to a hot start, in my opinion.
I don't think he's made it to a bowl game since he's got to UCLA, and he definitely hasn't. And it doesn't seem like it's getting really any better. When Chosen was there, seemed like the offense worked better, but the defense couldn't stop anybody. So
yeah,
and it's kind of been that way.
Kind of the story of
Chip
a lot
Kelly.
of the team. Yeah, Chip Kelly in particular, and the Pac-12. Besides the top dogs, which have pretty much only been
Oregon, Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford slows the game down for sure.
What's interesting, though, is Cal's defense actually has been performing better than anybody else's defense. They haven't been able to move the ball, though.
Yeah.
So it's
no
pretty crazy.
offensive firepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, UCLA, I mean, they have a tough slate going out first. I mean, they should beat Colorado. Then they have Utah at home.
Oh, that's a big game.
Followed by on the road up in Eugene.
Oh, wow. That is a tough schedule coming through the pipe there.
They got to get a win to
They
start
have
the
to.
year out in Boulder.
They have to. Yeah, I think, like you said, they've had enough time. Chip Kelly's offense is going to work probably against Colorado.
He should have the guys that he recruited
finally
in his system
Yeah.
and knowing the system. But
okay, so both kind of agreements. UCLA is going to take that one. That's like the least interesting matchup probably for me coming through on Saturday. I just don't really think Colorado's going to do a whole lot. And then kind of cap it off. Oh, we'll talk about Washington and Cal a little bit. That game is canceled. Who would you have picked in that game, though? Cal's
favored by
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
It's tough to say. Like you had mentioned earlier, California's defense has been top ranked.
With Justin Wilcox, I mean, he's been doing really well. The offensive coordinator, or the head coach from Eastern Washington, actually is the offensive coordinator down at Cal.
And those boys score points.
They score points. So hopefully that'll change when I think Cal could be actually a pretty good team. I was actually really interested in the Cal-Washington game just to see how what was the new head coach? Jimmy Lake.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do. If he's going to be, I mean, we know for sure he's going to be the signal caller for defense. Let's see what their offense can do. Mm-hmm. I think defensively they're going to be pretty solid. What type of talent they're going to have on the offensive side, it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, too bad we don't get to watch the game.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is that Cal's defensive line versus Washington's offensive line was going to be a really big matchup in that game. Mm-hmm. Washington usually likes to be physical. They usually like to control the line of scrimmage. Cal's defensive line has been really solid the last 2 years.
Yeah,
so that would have talent. And another thing I wanted to talk about, Jimmy Lake as a defensive coordinator or as a DB coach when he was before. He's had guys go to the league. He knows what he's doing. Taylor Rapp's probably the best example. He's the starting safety for the LA Rams. Mm-hmm. And that guy's solid. He knows what's going on. He's been coaching. I mean, I just think Jimmy's going to have a really good start and a really good go there. He's been around the program a long time. Yeah. So I think that moving forward, I think that's going to be huge for Washington.
Peterson's still a part of the program.
He's not. You think so?
I don't know. That's what they were saying. He's going to be like some sort of football specialist or supervisor or something.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
I just don't think he wants to give up the house on the lake.
Probably not.
And the boat access to the university.
He was the highest paid state and paid employee in Washington. So
yeah, I'm sure
he was raking it in for sure. And if he can stay on some sort of payroll, I'm sure he's going to keep raking it in from. He's making more as a specialist than we are combined.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably thinking about maybe a job in Oregon, looking to score a little crack on the street.
You think he's a crack guy?
No, probably not. He's like a LSD, try to and see some things. And
see, these are the insights that you're getting from this discussion show that you're not getting.
This is a Pac-12 discussion.
Yeah, we discuss all Pac-12 things. But no, I think that game was really interesting to me. Have you ever been to the Washington Stadium?
I haven't. I've driven past it, but not.
It's beautiful. It's right on the lake there. It's open. I don't know how they don't get more recruits.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A lot of these schools, that's a big thing with the Pac-12 is, so you had the USC recruiting class that was 7 in the country, and then when we get to the Oregon-Stanford game, Oregon's recruiting class is top 3 right now.
Yeah.
So I think the Pac-12's got to start getting NFL dudes.
Yeah, if they want to compete, and I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think the pandemic helped the Pac-12 this year because guys couldn't travel as easily. Last fall you could go watch guys and you could be on, top players from California. Because the thing about California and Oregon and Washington is they don't retain the majority of.
So kind of the last game on the slate here, we got Stanford at Oregon, going to Eugene. Oregon's favored in that game 11 points. So how are you feeling about how strong Oregon is this year, where they're at? Do you think they're going to cover? How do you feel about the game?
I think Oregon covers. I really like Cristobal. He's a motivator.
Wasn't he like an offensive lineman coach?
Yeah, he was an offensive lineman.
He was an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah, in the league. Pretty sure. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he played at Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And he looks way different than he did. He slimmed down.
Did he lose a lot of weight?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if you heard the interview that he had with the Game Day boys.
Yeah, some of it. You want to walk me through what was going on?
They pretty much just asked him, how are you feeling about playing? And he's like, let's go. We're ready to go. We're going to get to actually play instead of watching all of these other conferences get to compete every week. And the big thing that he wanted to convey is that they are going to take advantage of every moment that they have to get to play. Because, I mean, with the pandemic and whatnot, you just don't know. Mm-hmm. So they were going to be motivated. So I know that Shaw has been there for a while.
Yeah, at Stanford.
He's had some really great teams. Cristobal is a little bit less experienced, but Oregon has Thibodeau. He's an edge rusher, probably a top.
He's been there for a couple years, hasn't he?
He's 2019 recruiting class, so it's going to be his second year. He was like a top 5, and depending on what ranking system and who's evaluating him, he's a top 5 dude in the country as an edge rusher.
Oh, okay.
And I think this year he's going to live up to that. They also have C.J. Riddell. He's one of like 9 players in the last 60 years to have a 250-yard rushing game, 50 yards through the air, rushed for 1,000 yards in each of the last 2 seasons. And the Ducks are 7-1 when he rushes for over 100 on the ground. So they do have some talent on both offense and defense. I like Oregon this year. I think that they're going to win the Pac-12. It's not really a dark horse call, but
you think they'll get the North and win in the championship game?
Yeah, they'll take the North, and I'm not. I mean, I hope the Pac-12 is more competitive this year. I hope they don't shoot themselves in the foot and beat each other up like
they have the last
always happens.
Yeah,
and possibly by the bottom half
right.
of the Pac-12,
right,
which happens
all the time.
Like every other year.
Yeah.
It could happen this year. I mean, it's so tough to tell, but I do like Oregon over Stanford. I like them to cover. They're in Eugene. And
I think I'm going to go, I think with the Oregon-Stanford game, I'm going to say Oregon will win, but Stanford's going to cover the spread. I think that David Shaw, he's a really good coach, obviously. I mean, he's won Pac-12 head coach 4 times. I mean, he's been there for a long time. He seems
since
happy.
Before Luck.
The first time he won Pac-12 head coach of the year was when it was the Pac-10, and it was in 2011. So he's been there a long time. I just don't think they have the ponies this year as any of these other guys. Oregon, the thing that's going to be worrisome if you're going to ever put any money on Oregon this year is that they had dudes on the team, and they declared and they said that they're not going to play this year. And they had a lot more NFL talent than anybody in the Pac-12, and those guys aren't coming and playing. So you're going to have a lot of those guys that should be playing that aren't. But I still think from top to bottom, they're going to recruit better. They're going to have better players. They've just been on top for a long time. The quarterback play is going to be interesting without Justin Herbert either in Oregon.
Exactly.
But I think Stanford's going to grind the game out, and they're going to try to run, the 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets, and just run the football on them. And I think Oregon will squeeze it out. They'll get a dub, but Stanford's going to cover the spread.
I agree with you there.
Yeah,
I got Stanford covering. The only thing that makes me nervous about Stanford covering, and I guess it doesn't matter that much this year, is they're just traveling to Eugene. You don't have to worry about the crowd noise. You don't have to worry about any of that. You're in the same time zone. So I'm not too worried about Oregon picking up the dub, but I would be skeptical.
That's
taking Oregon to cover.
Yeah.
Especially with it being a weird 11.
At 11, that is weird because 10,
one.
You have 10.
If it's a
9.5.
It's 11. Yeah, if it's a 9.5, then I feel comfortable. But with it being 11, you pretty much have to get 2 touchdowns on them. It's tough to say. I would honestly feel pretty uncomfortable after watching the first couple weeks of the college football season to be throwing a lot of bets around this year. You just never know. I mean,
Right.
people have been favored by 3 touchdowns
And losing games.
and lose at home.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking money lines and you want to take an underdog and you want to put $5 on it,
This is the year.
this is the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the year to take a Pac-12 team.
You think that they
Money line.
Do you think they have a chance? Do you think anybody in the Pac-12 has a chance of getting in?
That's a good question. Oh, to the
For the
playoffs?
Yes. Because that's
to
why
put a place a bet on them.
Just in general, do you if you are forecasting for the year, right? All this going in, if you're the committee, can you put anybody in the Pac-12 in this year? Do you think? I'll give you my 2 cents on who I think can get in. It can only be 2 teams. It can only be Oregon and it can only be USC because they're already ranked, and you only have 7 opportunities at max.
Yeah, no bias. Yeah,
The game
max,
might get
exactly.
canceled because of COVID or whatever, and I think Oregon realistically they have to play USC in the championship game and they have to beat USC or vice versa. But I think Oregon will be ranked higher than USC will towards the end of the year, and I think Oregon will have to win that game.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think that there are some teams like a Utah can sneak into the top 25 and make a good push.
You think they can
depending
get in?
on their schedule. I don't know what their schedule is looking like. I don't know. I would have to take a look at their schedule. So let's see what their schedule is looking like. But
And then we're going to be
I
coming
think
up
that
with a
they
bonus
could.
pick here too.
yeah, we're going to be all about that bonus pick.
But no, I think
I agree with you that Oregon is probably.
because who's
I mean, I guess
the pick?
Utah has to beat USC
Oh, has to
to
has to
sneak
beat USC.
in, but
Who else do they play?
they have USC. So they start off with, of course, Arizona. They start off with UCLA, which could be, depending on what happens with
Be a
them
big
in
game.
Colorado, it could shape up to be an okay game. Then they have USC at home,
Have to win that
a
game.
decent Arizona State game,
And then Oregon State.
and then Oregon State. Who knows what they're going to be looking like? I mean, it's really kind of up in the air, but
And then Colorado to finish it.
yeah. So I agree with you. I think that you only have a couple teams that could make a playoff, but I think the biggest thing is a North or a South team that's trending up, not losing to the bottom half of whatever, and then winning convincingly in a Pac-12 championship.
Oh, for sure. Because you have Clemson, you have Ohio State probably, and you have Alabama. Those 3 schools,
Yeah, the
if they don't slip up, they're getting
Big
in.
12 is...
Big 12 and the Pac-12 are always fighting for the 4th spot. And as of late, I mean, the Pac-12 hasn't had a team since Washington, and they played okay.
They played pretty good.
They played defensively pretty well against Alabama. They really couldn't move the ball very well. But so essentially, you have only one spot. The Big 12's already canned itself pretty much. Texas has already had a loss at Texas Tech. Texas is also 2 losses. Sorry. Oklahoma has 2 losses.
Oklahoma State lost.
Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State this last week. So you already have schools that have kind of shot themselves in the foot. And I think the only way is, though, you can only get... I can see how you could slide Utah in, but, I mean, it's only 2
I
or
don't
3
think you can slide them into the top 4.
Right, but as a chance to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think if you're talking brand recognition, which you have to have, it's always what it comes down to. That's why they put Ohio State in over the Big Ten winner that year that they won. They put them over TCU as well. They're going to put those big schools in because of brand recognition. The only real schools that have that are USC and Oregon in the big Pac-12. So,
yeah. I mean, for the Pac-12 to get better, USC has to be better. It's plain and simple.
for sure.
For them to get the recognition that...
You got to have at least 2 or 3 schools that are playing well
Yeah.
in the conference.
I feel like a USC... I mean, at Arizona State... What time does that game start?
The Arizona State game? 10 a.m.
Yeah. I feel like a USC... When USC's playing at home, they play during televised times, where like in Arizona State at Arizona is like 7 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. It's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, you're not getting the
No one's
recognition,
watching.
but USC has traditionally played daytime games.
They have to.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
exactly.
kind of the same thing with Boise State when they play. They play a lot of those, like, 8 Mountain Time Zone kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole East Coast is either, if you're a college kid watching, you've already been drinking, you're not going to pay attention. And
Yeah.
if you're an older college football fan, it's 10
Or
o'clock.
analysis or
Any of that.
analysts,
Voters, any of that. You're already going to bed, or by the halftime, you're done.
Unless you're SVP.
We're running out of wine, we're running out of time, we're running out of video and battery life, so it's been a good first show.
It's been a great first episode of the Pac-12 discussion. I'm very excited about the future endeavors of this show.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it should be good, but thanks for the first show, and if you guys want to make any money, listen to us. So we'll be making more picks and more videos. We'll probably do 1 or 2 videos a week, so tune in for the next one. Thanks,
And
man.
realistically, not to cut you off, I'm happier for all of you that you are blessed to watch us. So, cheers to that.